Hello, everybody. I'm JackieKCooper, and it's in the period of Memorial Day. We're thinking about celebrating our members of the military that we've lost, and that we're remembering them and honoring them. And I wanted to take this time to do that in a way. Years ago, I wrote a story about a friend of mine in Vietnam, and I included it in my first book, Journey of a Gentle Southern Man. And after the book came out, I was invited by Georgia Public Radio to come to Atlanta and record some of my stories. They put musical backgrounds behind them. Excuse me. And one of the ones that they requested that I read was a story called The Unknown Sometimes Hurts Worse. And I did record that, and they played it on Memorial Day back in, I guess this was like 1999, 2000, somewhere in that period. But I wanted to record, to read this to you to celebrate our remembrance of those who have fought for and given their lives for us. In every country has people who have done that for them. So in honor of those who keep us safe and keep us protected and keep us well, I want to read you this story. And you've got to remember that I grew up basically, I was in high school in the 50s, in college in the 60s. So it was during the Vietnam War era. So I was part of that time. So keep that in the context, of what I'm about to read to you. But I want to read to you, The Unknown Sometimes Hurts Worse. It has become acceptable to think, remember, and write about Vietnam. It has taken many years for America to be able to face the scar on the face of our history. But for everything there is a season, and the 80s are the season for remembering. My college years and the war in Vietnam collided. I managed to make it through college and law school, but the omnipresent draft was here beside me all the while. The day after I was admitted to the South Carolina bar, I was sworn into the Air Force. My military career had begun, and it was a good one. For 4 years, I served Uncle Sam at Robins Air Force Base, Georgia. Many of my friends and acquaintances went to Vietnam. Some volunteered while others were ordered there. I would have gone if I was ordered, but only if I was ordered. A Vietnam volunteer, I was not. In truth, Vietnam was actually a haze to me. Being in an Air Force town, I was spared the anti-military sentiments of parts of the country. The war was a distant event that bordered my life, but did not intrude upon it. Except Chris McIntyre was a farm boy. He loved the outdoors and all animals. He was truly a good person. He and I went to high school together, but he was a couple of years behind me. But at our school, it was small enough that you could get to know just about everybody who went there. Chris was popular, immensely so. He had the natural ability to make everyone feel special who came into contact with him. Sometimes I thought he was too good to be true, but I could never prove it. He loved life. He lived life. He made other people's lives better. Everyone in Clinton, South Carolina said Chris was really going to go places. His parents, who were just good, hard-working people, could hardly contain their pride. Chris was the apple of their eyes and the delight of their souls. He was a gift from God who got better each and every day he was alive. Chris sailed through high school and he graduated with honors. He was the president of the student body, and he was voted most popular in the senior class. The honors continued as he decided on college. West Point was offered, and he accepted. There he also excelled. I saw Chris on and off during those college years. We would hit up in Clinton at the same time and would each catch up on each other's lives. We never discussed Vietnam much. Maybe we thought if we didn't talk about it, it would just go away. It didn't. I was in law school when Chris graduated from West Point. He came home. Clinton always held an attraction for him that it didn't for me. I wanted to see California. Cliff wanted to see his parents' farm. I wanted to explore the bright lights. Even with all of his potential, I think he could have lived on that farm in Clinton forever and been happy. It didn't shock me when I heard Chris had volunteered for Vietnam. That was just like him. If he was going to do something, he was going to do it right. And since the military had given him a good education, he was going to give them the best that he had to offer. That meant taking his turn in Vietnam. Chris went to Vietnam, and after he had been there for less than a month, he disappeared. He went out in a helicopter on some mission and just disappeared. That smiling face just slipped away into the jungles of Vietnam. Chris McIntyre has never returned to Clinton. No explanation of his fate has ever been offered. His parents know no peace. To this day, they wait and hope and pray. The war in Vietnam was a haze to me. It took place over the waters in another land, in another world. But the loss of Chris was real. Like his parents, I wonder what really happened to him. And like his parents, I still wonder if there isn't some chance he is still alive. In a bizarre way, that's the worst hurt of all.